As I said, I think it's the computer and I can't get away from it.
No problem.
Try and do an angle.
Detroit Business Hub Group Director Nancy O'Neill works with her team of experts. Listen to conversations with business professionals to discover the latest business innovations, insights, and trends. Find out what's hot and what's not in today's business market.
Hello, Kimle. I'm so excited that you were able to join us this evening. Welcome back to the show, your second time being a guest with us.
Yes.
And the nice thing, the great thing about today is that our event with you as part of our DBHG lecture series is only 1 month away. So we are super excited. Go ahead and introduce yourself again and tell us a little. We're going to get a little bit more details from you about our upcoming event, April 23rd.
Yeah. So first and foremost, again, thank you for having me come back. I'm very excited about the transformation we're bringing inside of real estate, finance, and banking. I just can't wait until we actually have the opportunity to be together. And for a little bit about myself again, for those who are chiming in for the first time, I am Kimle Nailer. I'm the owner of a construction company. I'm also the owner of a real estate investment company and a coaching for women, Positive Sisters. So Nailright Construction is where we do larger commercial projects. We do a lot of home remodeling. Right now, we're working on an amazing home where someone has bought the closet organizers. They have a huge home and they've got all their closets so they can all be redesigned with the organizers. That's been pretty exciting. We also do rehab. So if you're an investor and you're looking to fix up your homes to either rent, sell, we can come in and lend you some expertise. And not only do we just come in from a construction standpoint, because I am a fellow investor, I can help give you advice on, you don't want to do too much investing here because you're trying to keep your profits, right? In addition to that, that's kind of where I do my real estate business. I love empowering women financially because a woman just feels some kind of way when she has her bag, as they say. So this is really a joy to me to share with women. And I have clients that are male as well. But it's just really empowering to see women feel that they can own their destiny. And we do know that it is scientifically proven that when women excel financially, they do more uplifting for their families and their communities. So I like the feed into the power and the range of influences. I know women have that ability to really make impact. So that's what's exciting.
Great. Well, I know that you were at the Shannon Steele event. We are definitely looking towards part 2 of our lecture series with you talking about housing and social advocacy. So kind of give us a snippet of what you plan to discuss. I know that you're really big into ecosystems. Tell us what you plan to discuss at our upcoming event.
So what we're going to talk about is the 4th principle of Kwanzaa. And that's Ujamaa. And there's this need like never before for collective economics, cooperative economics. It's not the time when you can kind of pull yourself up by your back bootstraps. This is not the season to make sure I get mine because things are going so fast. If you want to make sure you play and play well, you have to come in with some partnerships. So that you can dominate some industries. So we're going to talk about a system of whereby this whole concept of buying the block for real estate investors who might be new, but you're transforming your communities, you're empowering yourself economically, and you're shifting change in the minds of the next generation because now they see we can make change and impact. And that's something we don't get to see every day. And coming from Shannon's event, we know there's more Black bankers who are emerging. So now we have resources to go to where we can empower ourselves economically. We can hold the note that creates the stream of wealth and also transform our neighborhoods. Because now when we bring these property values up, we actually increase our city services. So residents want to come in and live in the community. And I think it's going to be exciting. We're going to have a model, which we call through syndication. And actually this weekend, Nancy, I'm going to be in Dallas, Texas, leaving Thursday through Sunday. And we'll be talking about this model a little more in depth. So I'm looking forward to bringing some of that good insights, the secrets of successful syndication. So we'll be bringing that information back with you. So we're going to be bringing it to you because this year is going to be unlike any other year. We're asking you to get prepared, to shift your mind thinking and what you think is possible. We're not going to focus on the how-to. We're going to focus on that desire, the what, and what must happen. Trust me, when you create that kind of void, that's when the magics and the miracles occur. So I'm excited to talk about this.
Oh, well, great. We're so excited to have you as a guest. So since the last time you were on our show, which was about a month ago now, we have had Gerald Graham and the Jetta Group. How did you two meet? Because I'm just kind of curious how when you talk about building your ecosystem, I'm just kind of curious as to find out how some of these connections took place. And have you all worked on any projects together? Like, what's the extent of your relationship?
Well, I am listed on several sites, my construction company, and being Black owned, they called and say, hey, we want to know more about how we can work together. And so and it happened to be a few days before the Shannon event, your first quarterly event. And I said, you need to come with me. You need to come with me and see some other Black professionals who are trailblazing in this space. So we haven't worked together just yet. They had a couple of properties I've sent some contractors to look at. I'm kind of swamped with some things ramping up. And so that's how we met initially, just from a phone call. And we talked for the longest and we had similarities. We're aligned. And that's why I say it's a new season, people. It's a new season. People are calling you and they're right online. We were doing a project where we had been meeting for about 5 or 6 weeks. And that was a collaboration of about 5 or 6 organizations. And then all of a sudden I got this call. This guy says, guess what? We just got approved for a $25 million grant. And they're going to do exactly what we were doing. They were calling me to be a part of the training arm of the skilled trades. And that's what we've been discussing for the last 5 or 6 weeks. And we were saying, okay, God, we're developing this, but we need a pipeline. We don't want to just train people, right? Here comes $25 million project, homes being built.
That's wonderful.
This is the magic in the space that we're in. And that's why I'm excited, because it's more than just what it's a good thing to do. There's a deep desire and a passion by so many. And so Daryl and Gerald are both saying they want to be responsible, a part of this initiation of commercial investment, and they're doing that Grand River Greenfield hub. And I think it's going to be massive. So I've done some investment in some properties, residential properties. So all that value is going to increase. We're bringing wealth. We're bringing generational wealth. And that's the beauty of this. We're bringing it. That's just the bottom line. We're bringing it. And so that's what we'll be talking about, the how-tos to bring and how you can fit in and participate. Don't be thinking about, oh, I don't have enough money.
I'm
not asking you to have enough money. I'm asking you to come collaborate, because the money is moving. Do you want to be a part of it? Do you want to see your ROI on your funds? Because that's what we're doing.
Yes. So in other words, what you're saying is that the building up the commercial properties in the residential areas also increases the property value in those areas. Is that what you're saying?
It does, because when you build up a commercial strip, people come to use those services, then they don't mind living in those communities because they have access to the things they normally drive to. People will live close to where they have those immediate needs. And we could bring restaurants, we could bring little small eateries in the summer months. They don't have to go to the suburbs. They can go right on Grand River, and there's this restaurant with a nice eatery and out in front.
Well, grocery stores are really big too in Detroit.
What's that?
Where are all the grocery stores at? I said grocery stores are huge too in Detroit.
Yes.
People want to be able to shop
another venture.
That's they want to be able to shop where. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, you want to the grocery stores. There's another venture that I know. A young brother is under 30.
Oh, wow.
He's initiating a grocery store buy.
Yes, the grocery stores are important because people want to go to a place where they can buy fresh produce without feeling like they're being ripped off, without having to go to the suburbs.
And let's tell the truth, Nancy. You want to also go to a store, you can buy some meat and it doesn't smell like meat. Y'all know I keep it real. I don't like
You're
walking in
right.
the establishment and I smell it as I'm approaching the meat department. So we do
Yeah.
need nicer grocery stores.
Yeah, so cleanliness is important. You want to make sure that
Mm.
they're disinfecting the area. And I think the smell, well, if you want to really get into depth, it just comes from the blood from the meat. So I don't, to me, it's like cleaning. Like, are people not cleaning the areas properly? So you definitely don't want to like eat the food if it,
It
walk
makes
into
you
the grocery store and it
wonder.
smell. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I remember walking into one grocery store and the guy was mopping. I said, "Excuse me, young man, I appreciate you trying to do this, but you need to go down one of your aisles and get a new mop because that's an old, funky mop. Get a new mop so your customers and get some Pine Sol off the shelf
Right.
and to give your customers a good experience because your paycheck
Exactly.
is contingent on people shopping here. And this is
Right.
an area you can control. This isn't contingent on the owner. This is all on you." And he was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you," I said, "Yeah." And you know what? I didn't say it in a derogatory manner.
Right, right, right.
I
I
made
know
it
what
feel
you
like he's a
mean.
part of this team here. And I want to keep
Exactly.
this establishment for our community. And he took care of it, got a fresh mop, Pine Sol. I was like, "Oh, that's what I'm talking about, bro." So this is something that I say when you talk about collaborating and seeing ourselves as a community, this is where we're all going to grow together. And we
Right.
could do this around our money too, Nancy.
Exactly. And I think sometimes when I'm trying to think of a PC way to say this, but in certain areas where people feel like they're forgotten, it's like the perception is, well, if this person doesn't have any place else to go anyway, who cares if the store is dirty?
Right.
At least they have a place to shop. And it's like, no, we have choices. A lot of times we do
Yes.
want to shop in the city, but we just don't, at times, for depending on what you're shopping for, you might not have as many alternatives as you would like. And then, people get upset if you go across 8 Mile, but it's like, well, I can go to a clean store, I can buy fresh food. So it's kind of like a catch-22 type thing. But I'm glad, that the areas are being built up, like the Avenue on Livernois and other areas where people do feel comfortable shopping in those areas. Safety is another concern.
Yes,
They
yes.
feel safe in those areas.
Right.
The stores are clean on the strip. There's a variety of different types of commercial properties. So you have, like you said, you could just go to one spot. You have your art galleries. You can go out to eat at the same time. You can buy clothes at the same time, all on the same street. So
Right.
it's like,
It's a
hopefully they'll build up.
destination. It's like a destination. And I think that's so necessary for our communities because we have been the forgotten. Let's be real. We haven't been
in a lot of areas.
Yeah, we haven't been top priority. And then that mindset we kind of carry it. Then we just think, oh, well, this is enough for us. I mean, look where we
Right. You
live.
start to internalize it yourself because people
Yes.
saw you will, it's like you're not working in the best conditions, but then people say, well, you just happy you got a job.
Yeah.
And like, oh, so I mean, you start to become conditioned to just settling for whatever, gets thrown at you. And it's like, I can, you like aim higher.
It does. It's a conditioning. And that's why this time is so important because we're educating about shifting the mindset.
Exactly.
You become conditioned and don't even know you have been conditioned. You're expecting less than what you're worth because you've forgotten who you truly are.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I don't really care what your religious practices are. Those are practices. What I care about, if you have an understanding that you are a multidimensional being and you have power.
Right.
Now, you may have been introduced to your powers through various denominations. That's less important. The most important thing is to own the power that you were introduced to through your denomination. And if you practice that connection, that becomes a heart conversation, and the heart will lead you into the greater truth that you need to know. Right?
Right.
So instead of me trying to argue with you that you need to do it this way, I just try and encourage you, like, have you felt the magic of your real essence, right? Have you seen how this is transforming your creativity? Are you finding passion in your life? Because see, you can't be creative if there's no passion.
Absolutely.
And that's what conditioning does. We're blighted, we're in poverty, we can't make it out. But if somebody comes and says, there were people who were poorer than you that are standing much differently today. And I tell people, it's impossible unless you choose to stay poor. You cannot stay poor a decade. It's impossible to be poor a decade. You didn't make any new choices.
Yeah. Right. And that's one definition. I don't know who gave me this definition, where I heard this from, but they said that poor, a definition of poor is to pass over opportunity repeatedly. Exactly. So it's like opportunity continues to come, and every time an opportunity comes, we've been conditioned to say no, because we don't trust the system, we don't trust the man, we don't trust our own people. So anytime anybody comes to you with the opportunity, you're just like, no.
Yeah.
And it's like we start to sink deeper and deeper into poverty, because I believe that wealth is it's related to who you know and your connections. And, certain people that I look at, it's like, they're no smarter than you are. They're no brighter than you are. They just happen to be in the right place at the right time. They made the right connections and they knew what to say. And that was it.
And it really is true. And then not only is it you're not trusting other people, you've not connected to yourself to know that this person has showed up because that's what was happening inside of me. So if someone comes to me and I'm not searching for anything, I don't see it. I don't even see the opportunity you're bringing. But if I've been soul searching in my own heart and you show up, I'm like, that's exactly what
I've been looking for.
This is exactly what I knew was possible.
Right.
And so you step out in faith. I tell people faith has nothing to do with it's not reserved for Christians and faith belief or some kind of religious believers. Faith it's just like gravity. It just works. You believe, you will receive, and you will achieve. So what's good about right now is we have this great need that COVID-19 made us aware of, that we really need to be unified.
Absolutely.
And that something could come through and just change the game for everybody, no matter what layer or level you're living.
Well, the other thing too is that when you meet someone, depending on, like you said, what's going on internally, most people have a lack of trust because of being hurt or some betrayal. And so you come in thinking that people have this ulterior motive. Everybody doesn't have an ulterior motive, though. Some people are like genuinely good people who actually want to help. And it's like, sometimes if you at rock bottom, it's like, all they can do is help you. It's like the only way up for you is you only got one way. You so low, the only way up is up. So it's like, if somebody, like I said, I don't talk about people, gossip, make fun of people who are doing better than I am. Because I'm like, obviously there's something that they know that I don't know yet. So I want to find out what it is. So I don't really, I'm not going to dog out celebrities or people that are in the media, because I'm like, they know something I don't know. So, you want to find out and glean from people who are where you're trying to get to, instead of I think we're very critical. Our people can be extremely critical at times. And, I just have this philosophy that there's some degree of good in all people.
It is. And that's a good philosophy to have. I also like to remind people that even our treatment and behavior one to another is because of our conditioning.
Absolutely.
We have not given ourselves respect to say that for hundreds of years, we were conditioned to be at odds against my fellow Black man, house Negro, field Negro, those who were trying to escape and afraid somebody would snitch. And then you feel compelled to try and exceed above, the white experiences. So there was a lot of conditioning on how we are to conduct ourselves. And so it's a time now we get to throw off the shackles. And I can do that deliberately by saying, I deliberately choose to trust you, because I'm not really trusting you. I'm trusting what you and I can create.
Right.
And if we have that good conversation early on, and we talk about the real hurdles that we've all experienced, we find out we're not so unique. We're more alike than different.
Right. And I think finding those similarities and connections are really important. Just like you said with Mr. Graham, and the law of attraction. And I'm not into that whole, the law of attraction in terms of religion, but most of those types of, if you want to call it a quote unquote religion, most of those religions, they stem from the Bible. I mean, if you watch the law of attraction video, a lot of they're quoting directly from the Bible. They just don't give the Bible credit. And we're basically, the gist is we're attracting certain things to us. So like you said, the type of people you attract, it's like, like you have some women where they're like, I always date men, they always dog me out. It's like, well, wait a minute. Like, why do you keep on attracting dogs? Like, you're the common denominator. So I think sometimes we have to take a look on the inside and find out, why are we attracting these type of people, constantly attracting these type of people into our lives? Mm-hmm. And then, do personal inventory. But a lot of times people want to point fingers to others. And it's like, well, take a look on the inside of yourself and find out, what do I need to change so I can better my life and increase my life? And sometimes you just might be hanging around the wrong circles.
I think you have to, when you reach a certain point in your life, you understand the importance of proximity,
and having boundaries.
You really put healthy boundaries up, because somebody's always feeding into you, and there's no getting around it. It's not unique. Right. And as we talk about things like the law of attraction, and whether it's biblically based or it's a part of the Bible, there are some fundamental teachings that just have always existed.
Right.
And like I say, faith is just like gravity. It has always created new beginnings. Anything you believe, you achieve, because everything comes out of the invisible. Like we say, fear and faith, they're not much different.
Exactly.
It's just one is controlled. Neither one of us, we don't know what the outcome is going to be. I'm faith believing. I'm fear of something that's going to happen that may not happen. I'm just going to step out in faith, believe something's going to happen that may not happen. But when I control my faith with focus, then I allow the faith to produce the outcome. And as we bring more people to this level of conversation, I'm not asking you, the person, to show up and assist. I'm asking you, the person, to tap deep inside the true essence of your power and your being. And from that place, look what we can co-create. Then it's on and popping, because you're tapping into your faith. And when they say 2 or 3 gather together, it's absolutely done, right? Touch and agree is absolutely done. So we ask you to touch and agree with your own heart, your own power. And from that space, touch and agree with others. And then you get to design and decide what you create together.
And the other two thing I was just going to say is, while we're quoting the Bible says that faith without works is dead. So I think a lot of times we're missing opportunities because we're sitting.
What you doing?
Sitting.
What you doing?
Sitting. You come back around. It's like the man who was sitting by the pool of Bethesda. The man is still sitting. He's been sitting for 40 years. It's like, get up and do something. Even Jesus was like, take up your bed and walk. And Jesus looked at us, would you please do something?
Do something.
You're not doing the right thing. Do
something.
If you do something, you'll bump into somebody who's going to try to help you along your journey. But if you're just sitting there not doing anything but complaining, you can't.
There's no chance of you creating. That is so true. Do something. I wrote that today in my journal, and I could hear Wendy's voice, like, how you doing? But it's like, what you doing? You need to start just to make it, what you doing?
Right.
Now, how you doing is great, but are you doing anything?
Are you doing
had a divine idea lately? Has anything crossed your mind to be a solution for young people, our seniors, a way to solve housing? It's not going away.
Exactly.
So the only thing that's missing is no one stepping up to bring the solution.
Right. And I think sometimes that's why we have the masterminds and the brainstorming.
Yes.
Because, they said like iron sharpens iron.
It does.
If you get around people who are like-minded, and like we've had that session in January, where the four of us were sitting in the boardroom where I'm at now at Incubizo. If you sit around long enough, I guarantee if we had an all-day retreat, we would come out with some $1 million ideas. But if you sit in a room for 12 hours, with someone who's more than likely already a millionaire is, and then a couple of others who are on their way, we're going to come out of there with something. We're going to be networking. We're going to have some collaborations. We're going to be giving referrals on who you could talk to where you're going to get to. We're going to be discussing Ford, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. We'll be doing all of that. So I think sometimes we're just not sitting down long enough to sit down and have those powerful discussions. And I want to say, back to that antebellum South, a lot of that is because the mistrust has been planted and sometimes ingrained. It's like, like you said, the conditioning, somebody's going to try to steal my idea. And I'm like, maybe if you share some of your ideas, you don't have to share everything. Maybe somebody would try to help you. And we can't always be on the defensive. Oh, they're going to take my idea. And so God will give you another one if somebody does steal it. But
Nancy, it's just an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. You have a non-disclosure agreement. It's dated. Yeah. You know what you did. You know who you invited these people to this meeting. You know if they go off with your thing, you have a recourse. If somebody trying to steal your idea, first of all, that's a compliment that you have something so good.
Right.
Secondly, they may help you get your money faster than if you had to design it yourself, because if they get to the market and you get to sue them, get your money back, you be like, thank you.
Or the idea could just totally blow up and you'd be like, oh, I'm glad I didn't do that.
Thank you. Or it's just totally ironic. But I think if we think about collaboration, and that's why I'm going to Dallas this weekend. I will be in a room with multimillionaires. I put myself in situations, and there's reasons why you do these things. There's only so much information I know. There's only so much information my family knew. So I had to surround myself with other people. And a lot of times we're not comfortable being in places we're not comfortable, but these people can give you one conversation. Like today, I'm in Business Mastery with Tony Robbins today. I'm actually stepping away so I can participate. We should be going on a dinner break soon. But today I learned how to grow my business 111% by only making a change of 7%. 3% and 10% in 3 areas of my business for 111% growth. That's awesome. Monumental. So if you don't put yourself in those environments, how will you learn to grow? Then you spend all your time surviving in your business the same way you were surviving in your job.
Absolutely.
And you're not creating a cash flow to make impact until you get fatigued, exhausted, and we throw in the towel. So you have to surround yourself with individuals. And I'm going to be sharing on some of these tips when I come back from Dallas, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, it is important. It's imperative that we spearhead these new developments in our communities.
Right. And the other thing is, like, we seem to be the last group of people. We're the least likely to want to work together for whatever reason. There's multiple reasons out there, but every other nationality that's come here, and granted, most of them came, by free will, they have collaborated together. They've worked together. And it's like, we've been here, the first minority group after indigenous people or Native Americans or American Indians. And we're still, 2% of wealth. So you see these other groups coming from other countries, they've excelled, they've done well, and we're still struggling. Well, some of that is intentional, but some of that we have to look inside and be like, why aren't we progressing? Like, why aren't we moving forward? Because everything is in institutional racism. We can't blame.
May I make a suggestion there?
Go ahead.
When you study generations, because we have to have different intergenerational conversations. If you look at the experience of Black folks, it's only been in 50 years that we've had a chance to have quasi-liberties.
Mm-hmm.
So we may have been here the longest since the indigenous people, but it's only been since 1968 that we were technically put on the books in the civil rights that we could make difference, right? And we also know
Okay.
what happened immediately thereafter when in the 70s we had the drugs and the killings of Black folks. So there we have the
Right.
psychic terrorism. So I don't want to ever negate the fact that we have been an oppressed people.
Absolutely.
And we not have not only had but one generation. So if you take 50 years away, that means whoever is 50 today, I mean that person is 70 years old. That's our fathers, you
Mm-hmm.
know, or either my father would be a little older, but that would have been someone's father just in their 70s. If he was in his 20s, he's in his 70s now.
Right.
He's been conditioned and he's fought. He spent his 20s and 30s and 40s fighting. So
Absolutely.
he didn't have a chance to build because he was fighting. And
Right.
so now we're 50 years plus away. We're entering that next generation. So
Right.
now there's going to be an ability to kind of look back and reflect and say, this is what we can create out of that nonsense. It can come before then. It's just like farming. You can't plant the seed before you till the soil. And you
You
cannot
kind
plant
of have to
until you
own
get
the
into the
property too, before you can even plant the seed. So
That's
ownership
right. And
is very
so
important.
now we have had more of us who have reached certain levels of expertise in our careers and areas where we were never allowed to be in careers. But some of us are the same person. I mean, we're just retiring from these jobs. There's not a second generation of Black folks in these positions.
Right.
So and then in the midst of that technology change, so instead of us having that generational approach of seeing one generation, migrate, pass the baton to the next generation,
Right.
technology came in and dismantled their whole generation. So we sit inside of a unique environment as Black folks, and we have to love ourselves enough to transition, but never forget the mindset and the psychology that we've had to withstand to be who we are today. I mean, you and I as businesswomen, when the corporate environment, we know what we were challenged with that our counterparts didn't have. So I often talk about, let's look at the conditioning. Now let's make some new decisions. We can't
Absolutely.
change the conditioning. We can't
Right.
change the oppression. But let's look at the conditioning, and now let's make some new decisions. Let's
Yeah,
take
because with the
100% responsibility of repositioning ourselves. Repositioning, just like in marketing. Reposition yourself to succeed. Look at the
right, you have to
market.
pivot.
Look at the canvas. Now, where do I want to position myself? Am I a low-end manufacturer like Target? I'm going to be high-end like Nordstrom's.
Right.
Where am I going to position? And so we now get to say, we've had some challenges. And Black women, we are really blessed because we've had a lot more of that business exposure than some of than Black men, but now we get to rewrite history for ourselves and our future. That's why I'm excited about real estate. I'm excited about financial wealth because we are giving ourselves an opportunity to rewrite history for our children. I don't have biological children, but I have children that love me dearly like their mom. And so
Right.
I have a responsibility to them. I have a
Absolutely.
responsibility to my baby sisters and younger sisters and my younger Black queens that are coming up behind me that didn't have anyone in their family to show them where the bar can be raised. So we're showcasing what's possible. And I think that's what's exciting for me because now in a context of saying collaborative economics, using a platform of real estate, a platform of construction, where the government drops billions, not an M, with a B, billions of dollars every year. Imagine, Nancy, now we go find all those companies that are contracted with government, whether city, state, county, all the various level, federal. And now we take that template and we mirror it in other communities. And we teach Black women and men how to put their buckets out. Remember, poverty is what holds us back. So with
Yes.
new information and understanding we can now take money, collaborate it, buy real estate, buy wealth, have these financial institutions that are emerging. I mean, Black banks. I know there's a brother out of Atlanta. We heard Sister Sydney Sheldon, what's her name? Sydney Sheldon say she's looking to do one. banks are the next move that Black folks are going to invest in to finance our deals.
Right. And
So
so
it's
we don't
exciting
have
for
to,
me.
we don't always have to ask others to
Hello,
finance
somebody. Hello,
finance
somebody.
businesses for us.
There you go. Hello, somebody. We make sure we have capital.
Right, right. Well, one of the other things I want to talk about, like when you were talking about Gerald and Daryl in the Jetta group, is with those collaborations, you're so much stronger than you just being, the lonely wolf or by yourself.
Mhm.
And that's the beauty of attending these networking events. Was that the first time that you all had actually met in person?
It was when we met that night in January. That was our first time meeting physically. I had talked with Gerald. The first time I even met Daryl or even spoke with him.
Okay.
And I was so moved by what they're doing. I just said,
Yeah.
you guys, we're going to compound this. Keep spearheading where you are. And what we're doing is, I call it the gathering. This is a time of the gathering. And we're gathering people together. Why? The higher the visibility, instead of one off here, one off there, nobody knows.
Right.
We bring such visibility. There's a Bridge Detroit is a new digital platform that I'm going to start taking these same individuals and talk about these gatherings that we're doing and bring that visibility. So we start anticipating Black folks solving Black folks' problems, seeing
Right,
Black
right.
folks get wealthy, right? Wasn't that the block? Did you see how this block is changing every day? You don't even
Right.
Avenue of Fashion, classic example.
Yeah.
It doesn't look
Thank
anything
you
like
for
it.
the
But if
cool
those
title.
brothers had come together, the Bartels family and some of the other collaborators with the they were meeting there for years. The now they call themselves the International Business Association.
Yeah,
But for a
Rufus
long time,
Bartell.
yeah,
Yeah.
for a long time they were meeting, and we didn't see the results. And now we've made that critical mass, and now it's a desired space. But I am excited because that's just one street.
Exactly. Yeah.
And now, but that sparks our faith because we don't have to
Right.
believe, can it happen? We know it can.
And
Now
it
just
has
exercise
happened.
faith to produce it in the areas that we're working.
Yeah, and I think, that goes back to us knowing our history too. Because people are like, well, they're like, well, we didn't know this was possible. It's like, it's already been done, and you look at, Black Bottom and Black Wall
Right.
Street. It's like, guys, we're just reinventing history. It's been done before. If we did it
Yes.
once, we can do it again. And that was without the financing, without the banking,
Yes.
or
Without the
getting
internet. Without
exactly.
the ability to
Exactly.
network, without somebody being lynched. There's some Black folks are gathering. We got to go see what's happening, right? So we have
Right.
this
There's an
beautiful
automatic immediate
opportunity,
threat.
and we have to understand the value of just being able to come together. And that's why I so appreciate what you're doing, Nancy. I know I'm telling you, this year I put some very, very high goals
Okay.
on my platform. And so when I say I narrowed my platform and who I'm around, I've really narrowed it. It's only for a season
Right.
because to make the mass, I had to really narrow in. So, but I know I'm going to contribute in a major way. And I look forward to everyone who's going to join us on the 23rd
Yes.
as we start promoting this conversation. What would it look like when you see more of these little District 1, District 2, District 3? And now we have elected officials that are truly responding to us in policy making to make what we say. I had a conversation with these guys, well, the union doesn't do that, and the union doesn't do this, and you can't do that with the union. And I said, and who wrote that? Why are we going to stand behind policies that we know were written to keep Black folks out back
Right.
in the 30s, 40s? That has to be, you need to go back to the drawing board and
Right.
rewrite that so it is conducive to the environment in which we live. If young folks need to learn the skilled trades and talents, and we have a deficit of employment, and you can't do anything because it's not a union job, that doesn't make sense. How are you going to fill your pipeline?
Right.
So you need to say, we need to take training outside of the union as a process that you guys have skill set. You can become instructors. Become instructors and teach these young people. Now, if you want to take that talent and put it in the union and continue as you have, so be it. But in the interim, We can't keep saying the union can't do that, but you're saying these young Black men and women can't be trained in the skilled trades. So when I step in, I got a call yesterday. Well, who's going to do this? And do we have somebody who's going to be able to write the payroll?
Right.
Let me
Wow.
ask you a question. What part of me saying I am a Black-owned woman construction company that has been in existence, working at the arena, working at the Pistons training center, what part of that did you miss that you asking me, is there somebody who can write a check for payroll?
Right. And that's the thing.
I didn't do $300,000 by myself in my first year of business. If I didn't write a couple of checks, right? It's a business.
One would think so. I would hope so. One would hope so. Well, the other thing too is automatically when they see Black or hear Black, it's just this immediate, like you said, conditioning either from our people, our own people, or others, that it's automatically inferior. It's like, why does something have to be inferior because it's Black owned? Like I said, we have to take ownership for part of that too, but like 98% of that
to make this mind of new thing. Conditioning is so deep. And I tell you, we'll talk about it in normal conversation. That's some deep-seated conditioning. You're not going to get rid of that overnight. Right. And this I told someone, they got a little bit offended by me because I told them, I said, are you there? I hit something on my computer, my screen.
I'm still here. I'm listening. Yep.
Great. I'm glad because I'm like, something got touched and I don't know what. Which platforms we are on. The whole screen just like, where did they go? I'm looking at what?
We still see you.
I was talking to someone earlier this week and I said, I don't mean to take any away from our faith, because we often say the church is the backbone of the Black communities, but we've also gotten conditioned so that we don't focus on that mindset that we have. I told somebody, this is not for the sweet by and by. This is for the right now. It's time for the transforming of our minds, being renewed so we have the transformation. And if we're not seeing the transformation we want to see, that means we have more homework to do with the renewing of our minds. And that's some deep work. Just like if you're building out of an abusive relationship, or if you're building out of any other part of your life that's not working, and you have to do that mental work. What are you reading? What are you pursuing? How are you educating your understanding about things? You can't just leave it in the status quo and we're going to pray our way through. Prayer and the anointings break the yoke. The chains are broken. But that didn't give you the information. Now you got to follow into the regeneration to get that information, that you can take that information and transform your life. It's a twofold process. And so as we get more committed to saying, where are we going to have these conversations talking about this condition that we don't believe Black folks can be superior to other experiences?
Right.
How about that? When are we going to start these dialogues that this community of a Black group of women, the Association of Black Women in Construction, start locking down contracts from the government that change cultures till state rep sits down and listens to them and say, you best not pass that bill.
Right.
That bill is not going to work for us. And we don't want that bill passed. See, these are the things that don't get the media because we forget where the attention goes. So does the energy. So we got to start writing our own media.
We have to start telling our own stories too. And I think, and like you said about religion, unfortunately, religion has been used to oppress a lot of people, including Blacks. So that's how we got over here. And I'll never forget, I was at the African American Museum when they had that the slave exhibition. I don't know if you went to the exhibition where you actually walked through
the slave,
the slave ship, and I was like, oh my, and it just became so real. Like I saw 12 Years a Slave, I saw some of these other movies, but when you actually were there with the reenactment, it's like, wow, it's just right in your face, and you can't be like, you can't deny that it ever happened. But there was a quote that was on one of the walls at the African American Museum, and it said, forget your last name. And it says something about forget your country, the country you came from. And then it ended with, this is God's will. So religion has been used to oppress a lot of people. And I really feel like the church had, for the most part, the African American church has kind of dropped the ball on this, because I feel like a lot of these conversations, and we had this discussion in January, should be taking place in the church, because that's where you can reach a lot of us on a massive level. So unfortunately, because pastors are not picking up that mantle, it's like it has to come from somewhere else. Yeah. So I'm glad that there's other leaders in the community that are picking up that mantle. It's like, look, no one else we can't expect other people to help us. People thought that, Barack Obama was supposed to be this great hope that was going to deliver all Black people.
Yes.
And,
the great deliverer.
All oppression, past, present, and future, which was totally unrealistic.
Yes.
But we have, now that he's no longer here, he's no longer the president, we have to move past that and be like, what are we going to do to empower ourselves instead of trying to wait for someone to do it for us?
Yes.
So like I said, I'm glad that other organizations other than the church are picking up that mantle and saying, no one else is going to empower us. We have to be able to empower ourselves.
Yes, yes. And that's some of the conversation as we talk about this collaborative economics and real estate ventures and opportunities to grow and develop collectively through syndicated processes, gives us hope that our community does not have to look the way it looks today. And not only, as I said, not only do we develop skill set for employment and increase wages, we now put property back on tax rolls that's going to improve city services. It also gives people hope and belief that if they took one house and it looked like that and now it looks like this, they can transfer that same faith to apply to their lives. I might have been broken. I might have been bruised. I might have been in prison. I might have been human trafficked. I don't know. But the brokenness of this house and what it looks like today is reflective of what's true for me. And that's the hope I believe I bring to the world, is transformation is possible, and that we're living from within and uplifting ourselves. And as Africans, our ancestors had a rich, rich connection to the spirit. And it's time for us to embrace our true spiritual heritage.
Right. And it's like, read the Bible for yourself and not trust what somebody in the pulpit said. And I'm not trying to dismantle that, but you should know the word for yourself,
And it's a relationship. If you don't have an understanding, you're just reading the Bible. You could be reading a beautiful book of Rumi or Shakespeare's poetry and be inspired. So the Bible is not just for inspiration. The Bible is for true transformation. There was a possibility of seeing people who lived above normal means. I often say, let God put the super in your supernatural experiences. And once you have those kind of experiences, your life is changed forever.
Yeah. And to me, we had this discussion again, and this isn't to any one particular pastor or church in particular, but we talked about, like, wouldn't it benefit the church to empower the neighborhood that you're in already? Because when you empower your own neighborhood that your church is located in, that could be, people that could be attending your church in the congregation. The property value is going to go up for your property as well as in the neighborhood. So to me, it's like it sounds like a win-win. Why more pastors are not jumping on board?
That's another conversation, but I think
I have no idea.
Well, I think that, as I always say, if you start making homeowners out of all these abandoned properties, I think your congregation is going to grow beyond what you can imagine.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And when they
we know it's
prosper,
possible because we have so many who have built communities.
Yeah. When they grow and prosper, then that helps the church to grow and prosper.
Yes.
So, like I said, it makes sense to me.
Totally. Collaborative effort. Collaboration is our future. Yeah,
we certainly have invited pastors to join us in this conversation. Hopefully more will come on board. And I know that you have some personal connections with pastors in the community. So hopefully even some of those will join us on April 23rd, because like I said, I feel like they need to be a part of the conversation, and it might be part of that miseducation that we've talked about several times. But I think in terms of empowering large groups of people, it would make sense that, some of these pastors of larger congregations would join that effort.
I think we have to get ready to have a conversation of Black folks dominating Black communities and wealth and prosperity. Black folks, not pastors, but Black folks dominating in so many areas. I know these various industries that are emerging. We have so much real estate. They talk about the cannabis. They talk about the crypto. There are so many ways in which we can dominate the transformation that's happening, because we could be ahead of the curve. There's a book written by Bitcoin in Black America. I don't remember the author. His name is Isaac. I can't remember the last name. But I strongly encourage people to read it, because he's telling you a trend is changing that is equivalent to going to the gold rush of California. And it can make such a difference in your lives. Oops, I have an alarm going off here for some reason.
Let me know if you got to go. I was going to say, but if you got another appointment.
I'm in my sister's home because we're doing this training, but I do need to go. I want to thank you, Nancy, for allowing us to have another conversation. But I do want to get back to the training, because I'm teaching. I'm learning and training with Tony Robbins on how to grow these businesses. 3% makes 111%. A 10% make a 33% impact on my business. That conversation I need to have. And I'll probably share some of those tidbits, just a high level, when we meet next month.
Yes, I'm looking so forward. I know that Gerald and Daryl plan on attending, and we have several of our other members who have been talking about it. So hopefully we will keep the buzz going on the show. Tickets are available on our website at dbhg.org. Thank you so much for being another guest on the show and podcast. The conversation went totally left from what I had anticipated, but it all works together. And I think people got to see more of a reflection of who you are versus what you do. And you have one of the most beautiful spirits. I love how you give back to your mentees, and I hope some of them join you as well on the 23rd. I know that you brought something with you to the last event. So I am just looking so forward to having you in our space and learning more about these Kwanzaa principles, because I don't know a whole lot about Kwanzaa, but I would like to learn. And I am really looking forward to this upcoming event and the type of people that it's going to attract and draw. And I just think that God is really doing something with the organization, and I'm really glad that you're a part of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So hopefully
I wish I could stay longer with you.
No, it's okay.
We had such a great conversation before. I look forward to next month.
Sounds good, Kimle. So we will be in touch before the event just to tie up some loose ends. Everyone, feel free to join us. Go to our website at dbhg.org, at DBHG University, to find more out about the Kimle Nailer event on April 23rd. I might call it The Gathering. Actually, I like that name.
The Gathering.
Yes, it's beautiful. It sounds very spiritual too.
Yes, we can use that. That's the state rabbis. What do we call ourselves? I said The Gathering.
I like that. As long as it's not The Circle.
Yeah. Oh, Circle.
It's a movie. You got to look at the movie.
That must went over my head there, The Circle.
Yeah. Look it up, Tom Hanks. You got to check it out.
Okay. Thank you so much, Nancy.
Oh, thank you. Have a great evening. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
All right. Peace.
All right. Bye-bye.